Good afternoon. The scripture of the day comes from Philippians 4:8, which says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." In Philippians 4:8, Paul is actually writing to us as believers to kind of guide us on how to manage and guard our thought life. In the scripture, Paul had actually gave us 8 filters that we can filter our thoughts with, and I'm going to try to break them down as quickly as I can. So one is whatever is true and aligned with God's truth. Another is whatever is noble, and those are things that are honorable, worthy of respect, and that are uplifting to you and to God. Whatever is just, which he wants us to focus on what is right according to God's standards and not our own standard. Another one is whatever is pure. We should think on things that are morally clean, like what we watch, what we listen to, what we read, and actually what we entertain ourselves with too. Another one is whatever is lovely. This can be whatever is kind, full of grace. Think about healthy relationships, God's creation, pure, undefiled worship, and all forms and acts of love. Another one is whatever is of good report. Now, those can be things that are commendable and constructive and honoring to God. Okay? Not everything happening in the world is good, but we constantly consume a lot of negativity. So if we choose not to do that, that can actually help to shape our perspective in the right way. Then he went on to saying, if there is anything of any virtue. When we think of virtue, it actually refers to moral excellence and godly character. So we should think about qualities that actually reflect Christ in all aspects. Then it says, if there's anything praiseworthy. He's saying that we should dwell on things that are actually worthy of gratitude and praise. This naturally shifts our heart towards pure worship towards the Lord. But what makes this verse really stand out and really powerful was that Paul was literally writing this from prison. He literally had every reason, at least according to our standard, to complain, to worry about his future, to even become bitter and even focus on like what his current circumstance was. But instead, he actually taught believers that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can choose how we can move forward and what we dwell on. Our mind is like a garden. So whatever we continually plant, water, and nurture will eventually grow. Paul reminds us that we need to fill our minds with things that reflect God's truth, his goodness, and his character, because it's our thoughts that shape our attitudes, our choices, and ultimately our lives. So today, pay attention to what you've been dwelling on. Is it actually feeding your faith, or is it feeding you fear? Choose one thing from Philippians 4:8 today, one of the filters that Paul mentioned, and intentionally choose to focus on it today and see what God will do for you. Have a good day.